GM, we are live and we are in the lobby of a 20-second poodle. So if you want to get in this action, hop in. This is a 20-second poodle. I'll post that in the chat. 20-second poodle here. Best ball on call, nice and early. Thank you so much for coming by. Indeed, we are. We're down to waiting for two. So again, best ball on call. Thank you so much for coming in. Started a couple minutes early because I just wanted to make sure we were able to get people into this one, because I like to hop in and see what the fill rate is at. And hopefully, if anyone wanted to get in, they got in. CLN 2013, thank you so much for coming by. GM to you. It looks like Dirty P found his way in here. Don't know if he's in the chat, but a friend in true. CLN 2013, you did hop in. Awesome. See you there in the 8-hole. So we've got some friends and family in this poodle. Dirty P choosing to be the problem. I see you have changed your avatar on YouTube. Hopefully that is not some sort of witness protection related situation, but good to see you in here. New avatar or not. We're down to waiting for 10 seconds to start. But again, thank you for hopping in this draft and getting this filled. And again, with ship chasing coming live at 10, I will cut this. Then I'm going to try to time this so we can get three drafts in. That will be the goal for today. I think in the second draft, if it looks with 45 minutes left I guess at 9:15, I'm going to hop into something. So we might do a short stint of multi-tabling. Hopefully not, but we will see. So Bijan goes at 2. I guess I'm just going to take Saquon. I've been taking a little more Jefferson over Saquon, but again, I think my general idea in the first round is to just sort of go with the flow as far as exposures, not take any big stands. I suppose if I wanted to take a stand at the poodle, I could, but with that said, I this is not the hill I want to die on. If I want to make one of these small contests like 100% Scatabo, I'm probably going to do that with one of these that launches in the future. That's just an example, but I do think I want to make one of these small contests just pure player takes, ADP be damned, and just see how we do, just going off pure vibes. But for this first contest, warming up, not going to pass. Saquon Barkley. James Young, you're up. Good. You got to wake up, man. It's 8:30 a.m. I actually got to sleep in. My kid slept until 6:15, and I woke up, felt like I'd slept for 1,000 years. I was actually more tired because he's been waking up at 5 or earlier. So I've been up for about 4 hours before streaming. So I'm waking up with you all today. Dirty P, it's temporary going through the stage. All right, good. It was jarring to see that there. Damn, hopping on a sneaky early hop plus EV. No, this was still waiting for 5 when I went live. So I'm not at the stage where I'm trying to like dodge. I'm trying to dodge people. I do not care. I draft enough off stream to where this just helps vary the textures, vary the builds. The stream drafts are very different from not stream drafts. So I think getting in different draft environments is a net positive. So right now I have no problem if people hop into these, because again, when you get sniped, it's not like you don't get a player. You just get a different player, and you never know how that's going to turn out. You just can't predict it. So I'm more than happy to be hopping on. CLN 2013 has already done 2 miles today. Well, congrats. I mean, that's awesome. I admire the early exercise crowd, because I tend to like to work out early too, because then it feels like no matter what the rest of the day brings, you've already at least accomplished something. You can, in best ball, we like to tell ourselves stories. And for me, if I wake up early, my story is my day has already been a success. If that's the least we do. Let's pull up the board, see what our friends are doing. Dirty P going with Neighbors and Henry. Nice boomer approved start with Henry. I've realized I don't have any Derrick Henry in BBM, which seems bad. I've already done 41. So next BBM, next few, I'm going to make it a point to up that, because it's not really an intentional fade to end up with none of him, but it's just kind of worked out that way. I'm not taking Rashee Rice at 22. You guys just can't make me do it. That seems terrible. I'm going to take Garrett Wilson. I will take Garrett Wilson there. I get a lot of that if I'm in the 2-hole. A Saquon Wilson start, I'm more than happy with. I just ideologically, I'm just opposed to taking a receiver coming off of a significant knee injury in a very different offensive environment that we're just projecting to like go back to where it was. I'm not going to do that. And you know what? We're going to get a little slap happy. I'll take Tyreek Hill. So we've got Saquon, Garrett Wilson, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, I like this start because I think Wilson was a first-round pick last year, and we're punishing him for reasons I don't understand. And Tyreek Hill was the 103. And I've come around to the idea that he might just be healthy, and last year was an aberration. And I might be a sucker for buying into that sprinting video, but he's still fast. Like I think he may have put to rest the like lost a step narrative. And I don't know. I was worried that we were leaning too much on like a wrist injury for him not getting open, but that whole offense was such a disaster that I've realized that I don't think I took like any Hill pre-draft, and that's looking like one of my worst. One of the takes I'd rather that I'd like back if I could. CL in 2013, he starts with Puka, AJ Brown, and Terry McLaurin. We'll see if he's trying to get Jaden Daniels at pick 41. That's something that's been lining up nicely for people in post-draft contests. Dirty P, he locks up the Ravens offense, taking Lamar Jackson to pair with Derrick Henry. I like that. That's an offense we want pieces of, and that's going to capture the vast majority of the touchdown equity on a team we're excited about. So, there's some places where QB running back feels like you're getting very cute. I don't think the Ravens is one of them because that could represent a whole heck of a lot of fantasy points, and I don't think it's done with too great a frequency. Tyreek Hill is one slow motion highlight clip from rising 8 spots in ADP. James Young, I think you're right. I think we're the fact that we're taking Rashee Rice ahead of Tyreek Hill just shows, as the immortal David Kitchen said, that this game is beatable. That's my opinion. One good piece of coach speak, one good practice where he catches a lot of passes. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So CLN 2013, does he take Jaden Daniels? Winds the clock to double zeros. The buzzer goes off, and Jaden Daniels appears on our draft board. So certainly makes sense to do that. Gets that stack. Pretty nice start for him there. Board coming around. I've warmed up to James Cook. He's not my favorite click anyway, even without the holdout stuff. But at least with that passed, it feels a little less risky than perhaps it did before. I think my preference will be one of these backs. I don't know if I want to take Devonta Smith. Well, Jalen Hurts goes, so there goes that. I was thinking of going mega Eagles. DK Metcalf, I think, is just a strong pick here. Rodgers definitely has shown that he can support a number one receiver, and so I don't have a problem with Metcalf. I like him a little more in some of these newer time box contests. It feels a little better than getting him in BBM where he's risen quite a bit. Same with Pickens. I'll still take them in BBM, but I feel a little better, a little cozier, if you will, in this contest. With a 0-1-3, I could take another running back, probably Hampton. If he falls to me, I'll take. Something to be said for going Waddle. I don't do a lot of Tyreek Waddle teams, but if Hampton's off the board, maybe I do that. Maybe try to get really a little different, because that's not a way that I build super frequently, and I'm not running into any kind of crazy bye week issue with week 12. So let's see what comes to us. So nobody wants us to have fun. Nobody wants us to have fun because, of course, Dud snaps off Waddle there. So I'll take Hampton. I was trying to do something fun for for all of you, but alas, the room did not let it happen. Let the Slappy see an underthrown pass from Tua to Tyreek Hill steam up then. Yes. Well, it's hard to overthrow. It's hard to overthrow Tyreek Hill, but somehow Tyler Huntley was able to do it last season, which I thought was which really spoke to maybe an underrated arm strength from Huntley, because that is difficult. Who's more likely to have the cops called before them, Rice or Hill? I feel like they're both going to be on their best behavior. I think they're all going to be, everybody is going to have all those legal issues moved past them. Rashee Rice, I mean, at the very least, he said all the right things after the incident, took responsibility. It's just weird. This court case has just dragged on. I really last year thought it would have been something going on, and it just hasn't. As far as Tyreek Hill, I don't know, man. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm a little homerism creeping in. But he, the incident he got pulled over just was ridiculous. Everything just spiraled out of control, and what normally should have just been a minor traffic stop for him to then end up with a wrist injury was really unfortunate. Really unfortunate out of that. So hopefully all that's behind him. I don't want to see any of these players have any off the field stuff, because that's not why we're doing this. We're doing all these drafts so like we can escape like the cruelty of the real world. So that doesn't need to creep in here. Tyreek over Rashee Rice. I found my people. Dark Side Dev, thank you so much for coming by this morning. You have found your people, and thank you so much for hanging out. Dirty P on the clock, so he continues his Ravens bet, adding Zay Flowers to the team. I don't think there's a Raven he can take at 64. No, he takes Travion Henderson there, so adds to his running back room. A very balanced build with 3 receivers, 2 backs, and a quarterback. I like all the players. Tet McMillan is a nice piece there at 40. Find myself taking a good amount of him. The crawl on the screen are my BBM exposures through 41 BBM. So if anyone is curious as to my big stands, they are ticking across the bottom, as is a reminder to like and subscribe, which would really help me out. CLN 2013, hold on, I will get to your team. I am on the clock. Speaking of fallers, Jordan Addison has been dropping. Maybe I'll take a page out of Dirty P's book and take Caleb and make a nice bet on the Steelers, because anytime you see someone taking a lot of Ravens, the thing to do is take a lot of Steelers, because it's totally the same thing. It's totally an offense that we want, every piece possible of. But no, I like to switch up the stands and the build. So let's see. I will absolutely take. I was going to say I'd take Addison if he fell that far. He's going to continue falling, especially if they announce the suspension, because we are absolutely god awful at pricing in news before it happens. We think we're good at it, but we are simply not. I think my preference would be Laporta. I really think he's. I think he's a little more maligned in the fantasy community than he should be. I like him to potentially have a pretty good season. If Laporta goes, then I am apt to take one of these receivers in this range. Let's see what BK Dennis does. He winds the clock down and takes our guy Sam Laporta. No problem there. Don't have any great preference as to these receivers in this range. I'm a little tempted by Steph Diggs. I think he's actually healthy and was getting, again, punished for the boat stuff, which I think is going to amount to a whole lot of nothing. Could take one of these Packer receivers. Maybe one of the Packers receivers feels like a little more of an upside swing with Wilson, Hill, and Metcalf. That feels like a pretty good floor. So if I want to swing for a ceiling, I'll take Golden there. You could maybe say the same thing for Pearsall, seeing a breakout, but I've also come around a lot to Golden. Maybe week 5 should have been my tiebreaker, but I don't know if I want to avoid that too much. I don't think I'm going to go all in on both the Packers and the Steelers. Again, two massively run heavy teams, or at least ones that historically have been run heavy. and take their passing games, but we'll see. We'll see what comes up. There were a lot of options there with that pick, and trying to just vary them up. Chris Negus, GM, thank you so much for coming by this morning. Tyler, GM, thank you for stopping by. And X-Wall, I'm a Dolphin fan. I've been tired of Tyreek and Tua for Pittman. Brother, I have been tired of this team for 30 plus years. It's never been fun. It's never been fun, but yet we persist. There isn't much difference between what Rice did and Henry Ruggs did. I don't get anyone. I think, James, the difference is the NFL always lets the legal stuff play out before they act. And the fact is there's not even like a trial date scheduled. There's like nothing on the docket. And so there's no way that's going to get wrapped up before December, like unless something crazy happens. And frankly, I think there's no way the justice system is going to move that fast. So that case is not going to be done before the season's done, and the NFL won't suspend him until that happens. That's why, like, the suspension risk is pretty much zero. Now, if you want to bake in like knucklehead risk that like he could do something, and end up in trouble, that's fine. But I'm not inclined to think that. I think, if we were worried about suspension, I don't think that's passed. Time to start hammering Rizzy P with the new worst Ayuk news that I certainly thought was the case. Yeah, Tyler, that's a good point. He could end up steaming up a lot. Ayuk describing him as like Percocets or whatever was pretty bearish. It was pretty bearish stuff there. All right, let's see. Man, Mahomes falls to us. I don't see a reason to take an unstacked Mahomes. I do think I might just take Justin Fields here because I'm going to take Hawkinson if I can move fast enough. We're going to take Hawk. We're going to hope that's not a mistake and that we can end up with Fields. Part of my thought was that Corstead might take Mahomes to pair with his very early Rashee Rice. So, and that these people already have quarterbacks, and I might be able to sneak Fields through to 99. If Fields goes, then we'll figure something else out. We could take Trey Harris and then look to get Justin Herbert later because he'll, Tua, Rodgers, and Love go later. But I'm happy to end up with Justin Fields here. I think he's really strong at pick 100 for quarterback we think is going to get to play the full season. All right. Who Hames, thank you so much. Yeah, yes, Ruggs also killed somebody. Yes, I think his point was that Ruggs, they both did the same thing, but Ruggs has ended in tragedy and Rice got lucky that it didn't. And like effectively they both did the same thing, but the outcomes, one was like the tail outcome of like absolute worst case scenario, and the other was like best case scenario. But yeah, I think the NFL will take it seriously. I think it's going to be a 6-game suspension. I just don't think it's happening this year. Who Hames, thank you so much for coming by. GM. Who Hames on at 5 p.m. Great stream, and he was within 4 of 200 subs. So if we can get Who Hames to 200 subs, that would be amazing. If you hit it after I signed off yesterday, I apologize. OMG Godlike, thank you for coming by. No one doing 30-second VMs. No, those are like, they feel now like they're the domain of the streamer. Like streamers will do 30-second BBMs, and otherwise, until the more casual crowd shows up. 30 seconds is way too long, says CLN 2013. So draft faster. Yeah, again, I think the auto draft being put on is helping, makes the 30 seconds not so bad. The other 11 people are the problem. Godlike insists he only takes three seconds to draft. Tyler, back on topic. Mainly the docs I follow were optimistic about his return because they didn't think he performed. He tore his MCL. Confirmation of that is extremely bearish. Yeah, it's funny that we don't get just like straight up injury news from the teams of what happened, and we have to like piece it together. All clocks should be 15 to 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 feels long, but remember, if you're like coming from normie football land, when you do your draft with your high school buddies, like the clocks are like 90 seconds to 2 minutes and the drafts take 4 hours. So I think that's like what people's idea of a draft is. If you made your friend's normie draft in 30 seconds, it would be rioting in the streets. 30 seconds with Cardio Club. Yeah, that's also true. That's also true. And I do a lot of drafts while I'm working out, but I always forget how you actually like enter the Cardio Club stuff. So I've never actually done it, but hopefully figure that out this year. So I have a pretty balanced team. I could take almost anything, likely to take one of these receivers. I think Kyle Williams would be my preference. Again, take another swing at a high upside rookie, potentially open up a cheeky Drake May. If I take Drake May, that would allow me to potentially make my last quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who goes very late in the draft. And we can also see where we end up with Tyreek. We did not get any kind of big fall on Jonnu. Sometimes he's been falling like almost into this range because of, again, the fear that he'd go to Pittsburgh. Tootin would be an interesting click. I think a running back room of Saquon, Hampton, and Tootin feels pretty good. I'm beginning to think, let's see, my next pick is at 142. McCarthy, I could also, so Drake May goes. So let's queue up Tootin here. Let's queue up Tootin here. Thinking for a second. Yeah, I'm going to take Tootin. I still have a couple of late quarterback options. Don't feel like I need to push it. Justin Fields represents a pretty significant amount of draft capital. So let's see if we can't get another quarterback or two on our next pick. See, OMG got his deposit match. I am not in a pick'em state, so they do not care about me. I do not get deposit matches. Yes, CLN 2013. You probably don't live. My guess is you don't live in a pick'em state. I noticed after deposit, it always says head to pick'em, which I don't play. Yes, that's what they're trying to push. That is what they're trying to put. Yep, CLN. That I probably think is the issue. Tyler, 30-second BBM for casually my own soft room hunting. Yeah, I think the 30-second rooms attract more casual crowds. And so that makes sense. Tyler, I noted earlier, like I do most of my drafts off stream, but I don't mind that the stream draft rooms are a little sharper because I want to vary my room textures. Like I want some soft rooms. I also want some rooms where people are quote unquote sharper because they're more inclined to stay in your lane. So you end up with like different textures of teams. I don't want all my teams to look the same, and that kind of forces some diversification. If there's some late round steamy picks we get here, or we get in other drafts that we don't get in these stream drafts, it just pushes us to other players. So, again, I'd rather my rooms not be super sharp, but I think there is something to be said for different room types. So dumb to offer not site-wide deposit match. It would be nice. It would be nice. Deposit. Yeah. Yep. James, that's the issue. Never trust 49ers with injury. No who-hims. We learned that the hard way last season. This was my second one, CLM. 0 since Michigan. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Drinking a 9 p.m. beer right now. Yes, that is awesome. You wake up and, you cannot drink all day if you do not start drinking in the morning, as they say. So if that's the plan for the day, you are rocking and rolling. JJ McCarthy, this is a pretty big fall for him. I think I'll just take JJ McCarthy, not overthink this situation, and move on with the draft. So we've got Fields, McCarthy. Probably take Tua with the next pick. I don't see any reason why not to. I guess there's a little bit of value in one of these tight ends. I do like them, but again, I just took McCarthy to go with Hawkinson, so it probably makes sense to just do that. Core stud. Oh, so he's the guy who took Waddle. So if he adds a third QB, he could add Waddle. I could potentially pass on Tua and take Aaron Rodgers later, but quite frankly, none of these players at this range really feel like I'm passing on any great deal of awesomeness. So I'll take Tua. We'll make this a 3-quarterback team. Going over the team, we got 3-4-5-1, Fields, McCarthy, and Tua. Running back room of Saquon, Hampton, Caleb, and Tootin. wide receivers of Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden, Kyle Williams, and TJ Hawkinson. So like the team so far. Let's see. Fill out the Cardio Club forum either on Twitter or Discord. Tweet out Underdog Cardio Card with draft workout later. Label team UCC 2025 XXX and link the teams on the forum. Easy game. All right. Yeah, that's why I haven't done it. There's a lot going on. OMG Godlike, this is a poodle. This is a 20-second poodle. Who Hames lives in a Pick'em state and didn't get one? That's surprising. I thought you just like had to live in them. I didn't even think they cared if you were like playing them or not. But yeah, that surprises me. Let's see, Dirty P. Since we last checked on Dirty P, after he added Travion Henderson, he took Steph Diggs, Jordan Mason, Rashad Bateman, Cam Scatterbo, Tucker Kraft, Isaiah Likely, and Bryce Young. All those picks make sense. You got Ted McMillan adding Bryce Young there. Pretty strong. Likely continuing your Ravens bet. And in a vacuum, I'm a big fan of Kraft, Scatterbo. And of course, you have gone all in on the Ravens there. CLN 2013. Since you added Olave, you then also added Shakir, Aaron Jones, Jaden Higgins, Jonnu Smith, Tajay Spears, Rashad White, and Jake Ferguson. You have an elite quarterback. You have Jaden Daniels. So I see you currently have one QB on your roster. Let's see what you end up with there. But again, I like the guys you've added. Steve from Fan Speak has sort of talked me into Rashad White being a better pick than I thought. So I'm sprinkling him now into this range of running back when I need another back there. So let's see what we get here. I think my pick would be Jalen Wright if he falls to me. Braelon Allen makes sense for the same reasons that Wright does, almost potentially to a greater extent. No, I'm gonna take Wright here. Interesting choice, but Wright, yeah, I think they're very similar bets where they go. I could also potentially then also take Braelon Allen if Allen falls to me, but a good question of what I wanted to do there. That is a case for a 30-second clock. Maybe I come to a different outcome. Probably end up with two more tight ends. Probably take them late. If Braelon Allen goes, probably take either Roshan or Gesicki. Gesicki as a tight end too seems pretty darn good. But I think this might just end up as a 3-6-6-3 team. 3-5-7-2 is generally how I prefer to build, but I really like Braelon Allen. I'm really high on these guys. So if my philosophy is that running back is going to hit my flex, then I can, I'm obviously going to end at six running backs here. I just don't know how much, again, this range of Wandale, DeMario, Douglas. I mean, Douglas has gotten some decent coach speak lately, but again, I invested pretty heavily in these first three receivers. So if I'm going to draft like I'm right, and then just try to make my make sure I win the flex with one of these backs, good contingent upside. I think Allen's going to have a roll out the gate. I think that's possible. Jalen Wright does too. If they don't want to give A-Chain all the carries. So we will see. I think opinions may vary on that selection. Got all but one relevant Raven. Yes, you did. You're missing Mark Andrews, but that is okay. Oh, got off of work 12 hour. Well, you have earned your, I like how I just assumed you were day drinking and you're just like a hardworking person after a really long night. So I apologize, OMG Godlike. I hope you did not take that the wrong way. Star players will naturally rise in ADP as more casual fantasy players arrive in the summer. Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, maybe an RB or two gets pushed up. I could see that happening. I like the thesis there. Yeah, you ask your buddies in your like casual home leagues, and they'll get the household name. You can ask support to give you the match. I mean, yeah, I feel like I should bug them more. I bug them. I've sent so many emails about the damn BBM T-shirt you're supposed to get for maxing, and they will not send me a T-shirt. They're like, they kept changing what they said. They're like, oh yeah, it was for last year. I'm like, I don't know. They kept telling me there was no such thing. They're like, no, this is for people who maxed it the year before last. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, why would they get a BBM5 shirt? Anyway, Underdog supporters tired of me asking about this t-shirt that I'm never going to get. I'm like, maybe if I win BBM, I can get a shirt. I don't know. But definitely no cactus. That the cactus, I'm not even hopeful exists at this point. But no t-shirt for me. Let's see what's coming around the pike here. Mason Taylor, I wouldn't mind adding to Justin Fields. I think that would be fine. After that, really might just be whichever receiver that we're all excited about. Maybe break the tie to a bye week we don't have. I do like Dante Thornton, and he has definitely gotten a little steamy, maybe too steamy. But again, when we're in the 16th round, 16th round versus 18th round, how big of a deal is that? So we'll add Mason Taylor to the crew. Juwan Johnson, probably my favorite late round tight end. Click, he goes off the board there. But again, with Hawkinson, we're really are hoping that he's hitting the tight end spot most of the time. Daniel Jones and A-Rich going to the same drafter. You love to see that. Let's see, did he end up with 4 quarterbacks? Oh, yeah. You love to see that. It's like, I don't care who it is. I'm going to get the guy. I am going to get the guy. Daniel Jones, though, does seem like he might just be winning that job. And us slappies are going to be us A-Rich people are just done. I'm going to take Thornton here. I take a lot of Darius Slayton, but again, I vary the bye weeks. I don't have any week 17 stuff because I don't have any Giants, but that's okay. I like Dante Thornton there, and it's also possible my last tight end will be Theo Johnson because that's really what's going to win the contest is the week 18 Dante Thornton, Theo Johnson bring back. White, one of the best picks. So Huhame's in alignment with Steve there. Yeah, I've come around to the idea that he's, Steve reminded me that it was Sean Tucker was, I think, inactive in the playoffs or didn't get any carries, and it was White there. And that's when the teams show their cards of what they want to do, and that makes sense. Dirty P is scoring no points week 7 and 14. Let's see what you got there, Dirty P. I'll have to pull it up after, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know some of these bye weeks they can get you. Rashad White is a fun way to make sure you have week 17 Battle of Florida. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Or I hope it's a good game. Covered with Miami. Yeah. No, that Bucks Fins game. Hopefully it's fun. Saying I can get another deposit match after I already got the 100, but I don't trust it. OMG God, like I like the skepticism. Just trust no one. Yeah. But Underdog support, they're generally good. If you're doing anything but asking for t-shirts, they're pretty good. Don't we get anything for making the BBM finals? I would have loved to make BBM finals last year, but my semis teams went down in flames. 2 running QB, both probably get banged up. I hope not. I don't want that kind of season. You get $37.50. Yeah. You can buy your own t-shirt. I don't even know if Underdog has a merch store. I don't know if they do that, but I don't think they do. If they do, I've never found it. All right, coming around to pick 18. We're just going to round this out with a tight end. I will queue up Theo Johnson. Why not? I don't have any great conviction in these guys. I can queue up Jatavion Sanders and my crazy. Really, if everyone goes, then I'll take some Michael Mayer on the off chance that that's what you need. But again, that is much more of a contingent value bet, and just hoping that randomly when one of those 12 personnel, he has that like 3 for 14 and 2 touchdowns kind of games that are possible from the second tight end. But with that, this team is going to be a 3-6-6-2. Justin Fields, JJ McCarthy, Tua Tagovailoa, Saquon Barkley, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Bashal Tootin, Jalen Wright, Braelon Allen, Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden, Kyle Williams, Dante Thornton, and tight ends of Hawkinson, Mason Taylor, and Theo Johnson. So happy with the team. Seemed like it's fine. Maybe you could argue Braelon Allen should have been another receiver, but I like Braelon Allen a lot this year. I feel like, again, trying to win the flex with a running back and a lot of early draft capital and receiver. Got to draft like I'm right and shut that down at 6 there. So let's see what our friends did real quick. Dirty P with 2592, Lamar, Bryce Young, Derrick Henry, Travion Henderson, Jordan Mason, Cam Scatterbo, and Marshawn Lloyd. Wide receiver room of Neighbors, Tet, Flowers, Diggs, Bateman. Oh, completed drafts. All right, hold on. Let's see. Dirty P. Bateman, Thielen, Allen, Wicks, MVS. I like all these picks. That is a lot of receiver capital. Crafton likely. To me, that's pretty close to where I want a third tight end. But if you think Tucker Kraft is elite, then you got to roll with it. You have a nice bet on the Packers there, and a huge Week 17 game. You have almost a vast majority of that game in there, minus Jacobs and Andrews. So yeah, I like what you built. It tells a story. It's a little out there, but I can't say that there's anything too glaring. CLN 2013. Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, running back room. You went 2-6-7-3. Daniels, Stafford, Ken Walker, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Rashad White, Roshan Johnson, DJ Giddens. So definitely leaning more towards contingent upside, but Ken Walker, we might be getting an injury discount. Aaron Jones, we're reading a little more into Mason Taylor than we should. So, again, maybe a little injury reliant, but I think you can at least navigate the early part of the season with Walker and Jones. Puka, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Khalil Shakir, Jaden Higgins, Wandale. Very strong receiver room with Jonnu, Fergie, and Schultz. So let's see. You were able to stack up Puka, CLN 2013. I like the team quite a bit. I like, 2 quarterback. If you have Daniels early, Stafford is your second QB all the way in 161, really enables you to do well with the positions. So we're going to fire something else up. And by something else, I mean another poodle. So as soon as I can navigate past all the baseball contests, I will fire up. I'm not going to do a countdown. I'm just going to click the button because I think sometimes the countdown confuses everyone. So we are waiting for 9. So waiting for 9. All right. White has that roll that Bucky isn't going to take from him on third down due to pass protection. Feels good with early running backs in 0 RB. Makes sense. Who Habes? I guess my worry is the games where White never touched the ball and really was just in pass pro and they were working Tucker in. But, again, Steve reminded me a lot of that happened in blowouts and in the games they were competitive games and must-win games. White was seeing the field. And so, again, I think James White is a guy I should be clicking. White fits with robust. Also, 2 early RBs, Escatabo, Tootin, Mason, Charbonnet, and White makes sense. I regret taking MVS over Torrey. No, I like MVS. MVS I think he's a great click. I would not have that regret. I mean, maybe if you're a big Torrey Horton bull, that's fine. But I'm pretty high on MVS as an 18th round click. X, while you get your wish. If you want to join, we're waiting for one in this poodle. Guy in my draft just got A-Chain, Bucky, Irving. Did he take Jefferson? What slot did he have? Did he take Jefferson at the 2 and then got those 2 at the turn? That's pretty, that's an aggressive fall for A-Chain. That is a nice pick. I would not say no to that start. All right, waiting for 1. I don't know why. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know if I was actually clicking on people's names. Bindles, GM, morning Chads. Bindles, thank you so much for coming by. Great stream yesterday. If you guys don't follow Bindles, he's out there in the content mines and doing some awesome stuff, getting some great guests, and again is his episode of Best Ball Jeopardy on the Fanspeak Network was fantastic. OMG God, like, no offense, but I don't want to draft someone who religiously drafts 3 QBs. OMG God, like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't join many stream drafts. I do it as a one-off. My stream drafts are the ones I do. But if like I watch all of like Davis's streams, but I once in a blue moon will jump into them because I have a lot of the same player takes. I build the same, and I'm like, this room is going to be not my favorite room. So I do not begrudge anyone who just doesn't join stream drafts. I get it. I know I stream, so it's kind of funny saying that, but I certainly understand just watching. And, I like to join the draft right after because sometimes the chat can like line up with what's going on. But yeah, I certainly understand that. That's I didn't join a BBM, did I? I don't think I joined a BBM. No, you scared you OMG God, like, you're scaring the kids. You're scaring the kids. I am not in a BBM. So Gibbs goes 101. All right, here we go. Let's see who we got in here. CLN 2013, you were able to hop in. Ant X Wall, you're in the room. And I don't know if I see anyone else I recognize. If you are in here, let me know. I don't mind stream rooms. I just don't want all my teams to be in them. I try to do the same to avoid when I'm not live. Yeah, I 100% agree, Who Games. I like varying the kind of rooms I'm in. But if I'm doing like a single bullet, I'd rather it not be in a stream room. But if I'm doing 150, then I'm fine. If some percentage of them are stream rooms, whether that's my own or somebody else. Scaring the hubs. Bindle's part of the Who crew. GMs back and forth. Two of the better streamers out there in the chat. So again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Who Hames, I missed if you got to 200, but if you have not, I am pulling for you. It will be well deserved when that hits, and hopefully it already has. We're on our own road to 200, but we're a little further away. We're but we're over 100, which is super exciting. And again, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. It helps. It helps so much. So let's see. So after Gibbs went at the 101, pretty much nothing interesting happened in this room. So M Ball Vans. Again, I don't mind doing this because you're just going to end up with different structures and different guys paired with Gibbs. So I think this is perfectly defensible thing to do. Not every time, but as part of a portfolio, trying to vary those things makes a ton of sense. Let's see what Zach Morris does, drafting from a 1990s brick phone. He takes A-Chain. I would have liked A-Chain. I would have enjoyed that start. I guess I will just take Arthur Juwan Brown here and move on. I think I was doing single bullet, I prefer Lad to AJ Brown just a little bit, but I don't want to just do all player takes because that got me into trouble last season. So take what the room gives you. And again, this opens if Hertz is there at 56, I can snag him because sometimes this is about as late as he falls. I saw him go at 62 last week or early this week, which I thought was absolutely crazy. So we'll see what kind of room we get. All right, Hartman, GM, thank you for coming by. I appreciate having you in here. Thank you so much. If you guys don't follow Hartman out there, you should. One of the good ones as well. So this guy's doing some wacko stuff. Takes Jamison Williams at 25. So now we're in the range of doing stuff that I think went from unique to just being kind of bad, right? Like Gibbs is there at 6, and JMO's there at 43. I'd say about half the time. That's pretty much his ADP. So you can get this Gibbs, JMO, McBride combo if you take them 1, 2, 4. So I don't know. I think now you're getting a little too cute. Obviously trying to do some kind of Lions thing, but I think you're just kind of fumbling value and projection doing it doing it this way. Again, he's going to get some different player combination, maybe, but now it's starting to look like he's just forfeiting an early third round pick for something else. Oh, I'm on the clock. Let's see. What do we do? I'm not really very excited about Terry McLaurin. I will take a share of JSN here and start off with CMC, AJ Brown, and JSN. The McLaurin holdout stuff is kind of weird. Makes me a little uneasy personally. That could just be reading too much into stuff, but I don't know. I'm a little bit out on McLaurin at this ADP this season, and X-Wall with the super high T start of Ginty, Derrick Henry, and Kyron. CLN goes with Puka, Ladd, and Adam. So, we got one piss boy and one high T. I'm kind of in the middle, refereeing, keeping them apart, saying, guys, it's we're all family here. But they're going down different paths this morning. Thinking ahead, I don't think I want to take Hurts at 41 as part of a stack. And my other stacking option is going to be Sam Darnold, who goes quite late. He could potentially be a pick all the way here in the 13th or 14th round, depending on what kind of QB pressure we get in this room. I think it's likely that Zach Morris takes Daniels here, and I think it's unlikely we'll get this Hurts thing actually happening, but we'll see. We'll see what comes around. Ant X Wall, he continues. No, he takes a receiver. He is the high T guy. The piss boy is CLN. For myself, Lamar Jackson has fallen. That's kind of interesting. You know what? We'll take Lamar Jackson. We'll do that. We'll try something a little different. We're gonna forego the potential Hurts push. Try to get some different pairings. Take an elite quarterback here. 5 picks of ADP value. Let's see what happens. I take Lamar at the turn sometimes. So trying to see what we can get with him at the middle of the board. It should be interesting. I think Jaden should be drafted before McLaurin. That's an interesting take because quite a few players go between them. McLaurin, though, he can be so touchdown dependent that it kind of makes me a little worried that if that reverts at all, that he's going to seem like a bad pick in the third round. I had a ton of him last year. I was over 25% in BBM McLaurin, which was very helpful for most of the year. But this year I've cooled quite a bit on that with how early he is going. So CLN continues pissing. He takes DJ Moore. So he's got a ton of different QB options himself. Let's see what the Lions fan does here at the one hole. He takes Worthy. It feels like a nice fall in Worthy. I almost took Worthy at 41. So he takes Worthy and Flowers. So very interesting build that he's going for there. Let's see if Ravens tries to push Burrow or if he takes them. James says, I always wondered how streamers deal with fatigue with the same 6 people in every draft doing weird stuff for attention. It does not bother Whohams. I have not really encountered this issue. I guess if it gets really bad, you can try to start drafts off stream. You can try to hide it, but I'm nowhere near having anything like that occur. So I don't think I'm quite qualified to answer. Of course, Hurts is getting close. Hurts is getting close. There's a ton of running backs in this range. Fertile ground to add a back. Let's see what comes to us. CLN 2013. What does he do? He takes Hubbard. I'm doing it. You can't stop me. I'm taking Hurts. We're going double elite quarterback. We're doing something terrible on stream. Nobody can stop me. I'm taking Lamar and Hurts. Am I doing it just for attention? Absolutely not. We're going to try something. I don't do double elite QB. If I'm ever going to do it, it's when I get 5 picks of ADP value on one and 7 on the other. So we're going to try it. We are going to try it. Hartman yesterday, we're able to prove you're not Beetlejuice. I Hartman 3 times, no show. Moderately disappointed. Dirty P, you've gone back to your avatar. But yes, he's not. People doing weird things create ADP followers in unique teams. Yep, Hartman, that is true. Vinny Veritas syndrome. Sorry, best ball and call. It's too early. I'm not picking that up, but I apologize. He got a nice draft yesterday. I was the only one in stream. Yeah, he had one where he snapped. He was like the snap fill there. So I'm gonna take I'll take Juwan Jennings here. I would have liked Harvey, but that's fine. I'll take Jennings. I could take Joe Burrow. No, I'm just kidding. I'll take Juwan Jennings. Emo Cowboy raised a good point about Pearsall potentially being a riser with Ayuk. Revealing his injury was worse than thought. Jennings, I think by the same logic, could see a rise or at least justify his price here. Who Hames at 56 would have to. Thank you, Who Hames. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a big drop, and now I can end this team with two quarterbacks. It's not going to be paired together much on teams that are otherwise sound. We'll see. And yeah, the AJ Brown stack is elusive. I got the AJ Brown stack. Hurts and Jackson like it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Ant X Wall. So he has 4 running backs. He takes added DK Metcalf, Ken Walker, and Chris Olave. Olave, again, I like him when you're catching up at receiver because I think, if he's back to form, that's like getting a 3rd, 4th round receiver in the 6th. I like that pick. CLN 2013 after DJ Moore, he goes Chuba and Montgomery. So those make sense after 4 receivers taking those 2 backs. And I know I keep harping on the one hole, but he's just drafted kind of normally after that, taking Travion and Jones. Wiggity pushes successfully, gets the T. Higgins push. I'm surprised that the Burrow push worked with me taking Lamar and Hurts because that's one less quarterback, but nobody was tempted to take the falling Burrow. That's interesting to see that. I am definitely surprised that he made it all the way around. No 3 QB, please. I don't know, OMG Godlike. The literature says 3 QB is very good for advance rate. All right, let's see what we get. Let's see what CLN 2013 leaves for us. He takes Dick. I'm so tempted to take this value on Laporta, but it seems like it's probably bad. I guess I'll take Judkins. I need another running back, I think, and I'm getting a good ADP value on Quinshon Judkins. It might be too cute to take another detour from running back and receiver after taking three QBs there. Probably add another position player after this. Lutz GM, thank you so much for coming by. I feel cured of Violet's prescription was to draft 5 Ravens with week 16 and 17 bringbacks. I mean, you love to see it. You know those big team bets are definitely a lot of fun. And when they hit, it's like you can just have those. When you look at like the DK Millie Maker winning roster, sometimes it's just like one team absolutely erupted. And so it would make sense, for some of your builds in BBM to go for that like team eruption. I'm not saying do it every time, but to mix those in. So let's see. Ant X, well, he took Khalil Shakir on the clock again, who he takes. Winds the clock, takes Ekbuka. A nice high upside swing there. Wow, Cooper Kupp goes, I will windmill in Tony Pollard here. I almost took him with my last pick. I am more than happy to get him as a 3rd running back, especially on a double elite QB team, which I don't build very often, so I'm in a little bit of unfamiliar territory. So for the audio listeners, we have a 2-3-3-0 with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, running backs of Christian McCaffrey, Quinshon Judkins, and Tony Pollard, wide receivers of A.J. Brown, JSN, and Juwan Jennings. So I'm almost scared to say I like this team despite being double elite QB. I feel like we've gotten lucky with some ADP value in this room. Someone informed Gritty. Gritty's lawyer has already sent me a cease and desist. So I have heard from the good folks at Gritty Inc. I think it might be good for advance rate, but I don't think it's good to win a final. Are you? I don't know if you're referring to 3 QBs because I don't know if that's. I don't know if I would agree with that. I think 3 QB is just as live to win a final as 2, especially like when you look at how you get there. 3 QB can help you get like a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen who dudded earlier in the playoffs. You can like slip through a lower owned QB into the final, and it just makes your team a lot more resilient to weekly variance. And it also depends like where you're drafting, like the difference between like Aaron Rodgers in the 15th round versus like, I don't know, some random backup running back that doesn't hit your lineup. Like I'm definitely very sympathetic to the 3 QB builds. Like when you end up doing the 1v1s, like you might not actually be giving up anything anything that you're super concerned about. All right, let's see the board coming back around to us. Did I miss? I don't think I missed anyone's picks. Well, what have I done? Oh my God. All right. Well, regardless of what I've done, I'm taking Mark Andrews here to pair with Lamar Jackson. I think that makes a lot of sense there. So now we feel like at least our tight end position is shored up after passing on that. I do love Cam Scatabo, but I did want to lock in that. I did want to lock in the Mark Andrews pick, and I think what I need next is probably another wide receiver. Although if nothing is there are some good running backs, and even in Evan Ingram. And then I don't like 2772. I just tend to be ideologically opposed to that. But the 2 quarterbacks usually aren't this elite, so maybe if I ever were to do that build, this would be the time. It's hard to say. Let's see what comes to us. Kyler Murray is falling. What is this room with these quarterbacks? I do not understand. And X-Wall, he adds Keon Coleman. That's a nice pick, someone that I was certainly live to take if he fell to me. King Sasquatch rips off a couple of running backs. Running back has dried up. Rashid Shaheed is gone. Oh, and then Rashad Bateman absolutely would have been the pick. So I think I'm just going to take Evan Ingram here. I think he's better than the receiver options, and we're just going to try to hit receiver with volume late. I don't know. I'm sympathetic to Andrews or Ingram actually being sort of flex worthy from week to week. If I now need to end at 2 tight ends, I can. Kind of a tough call, but I don't know. I'm definitely willing to listen to what people think. No one has hurts Lamar and Kyler. No, nobody does. And I will not be them. Chad, GM, Albuquerque78. Thank you for coming in and seeing this strange team that we have. Bruce, GM from California. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning. OMG God, I know first year I played on DraftKings, I got 2 teams to finals and all my teams were 2 QB. And that year I started hearing 3 QB stuff, got nothing to the finals. It's so dependent. I mean, the year Liam won BBM, he famously got less than 5 points from his QB2, which was Justin Fields. And Josh Allen carried him all the way to glory. But in some years, there's not going to be a Josh Allen who does that, right? If that player doesn't exist, then 2 QB builds are going to be a little tougher. So it's going to be so year to year dependent. And looking at what happened in the past, I think can lead you astray into thinking that's what you need in in the future. Just like no one has McBride. I've seen people do Browers, McBride, Kittle, and I cannot imagine that being good. Why am I not getting your notifications? You blocked me. What? No. I hope everyone's getting notifications. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do whatever you got to do. I apologize. I don't know why. I don't mind 2772 as long as it is structurally sound. Well, Bruce, is my team structurally sound? It's a little sketchy at some positions here, notably wide receiver. I don't know what's going to perform this year, 2 QB or 3, so I'm drafting out of each. Absolutely agree with that. All right, let's see what comes to us. I'm going to take Marvin Mims. The Marvin Mims FUD is, to me, a little strange. How far he has kind of begun to drop. So I think he can be a bit of a spike week guy. Again, I'm going to rely on Brown, JSN, and Jennings to be hitting my lineups in the receiver spot. Drafting like I'm right, but we'll add Mims there. We'll see what else is available with our next pick. Again, it's pretty sparse at receiver in this range. This is not where I want to be taking receivers, but that's what happens when you go double elite quarterback and then 2 tight ends. Early, Huhames agrees with James about varying the QB structure. Dirty P, however, drafting less 3 QB than he like. I try to set up DJ start show and always get naked sniped by 3 QB pros way ahead of ADP. Yeah, that article about 3 QB being the way to go has completely mucked up the landscape. I can't bring myself to click Mims. Yeah, Hartman, I don't know. I feel like I like Mims. Maybe he gets phased out a bit, but he's at least shown he can be a spike week guy, and I think there's value in I think there's a lot of value in what he can do. Ant X Wall, however, has no quarterbacks yet, by the way. It's strange that Mims is dropping like a stone, but no other Broncos patch catcher is rising. Yeah, I agree with that. It is a little odd. We're not seeing like a breakout anywhere. Speaking of Denver Broncos, let's just take J.K. Dobbins. This being a brand new time box contest, I don't have to worry about anyone who got him for free. I think he makes a lot of sense. Those really late, Jack Betch is, speaking of falling like a stone, he's falling like a stone with an anvil attached to it. So we'll take a little J.K. Dobbins on the team. Let's see what our friends have been doing. Ant X Wall, after adding Chris Olave, he gets Khalil Shakir, Emeka Egbuka, Keon Coleman, Rashid Shaheed, Hollywood Brown, and Colston Loveland. No QBs for Ant X Wall. He is living on the edge. CLN 2013, after taking Steph Diggs, Brian Robinson, Michael Pittman Jr., he gets Caleb and Herbert. I believe those are both stacks. Herbert is a stack. Caleb is a stack. Nice solid team there. CLN. I guess I could have taken Dallas Goedert to build out my Eagles thing, but I don't think Goddard would have made sense with how much tight end firepower I have amassed already. FK Coolers, thank you so much for coming by. GM to you. Pat Bryant will keep creeping up in ADP. I think, he has definitely been a riser. Huhames, however, says, not while Pat Bryant is on the board. Before the draft, I was into Mims. Now I can't do it. It makes sense. I could see there being some kind of best ball civil war between the Mims people and the Bryant Legion. I'm trying to fence it there and figure out who's going to come out on top. Myself. Let's see what we need. All right. Yeah, it is when you're in the market for a wide receiver at this point in the draft. It is grim. There goes Jack Betch at 150. Tyler Algier goes. I'll just take Xavier Legette. It's the only spot of orange on the board. I don't mind Legette slightly past ADP. I think I need that more than I need a 5th running back. With CMC, Judkins, Pollard, and Dobbins, and then wide receivers of A.J. Brown, JSN, Juwan Jennings, Marvin Mims, and Xavier Legette. All right, let's see what the fantasy gods hand to us. I believe Ant X Wall, he takes Jake Ferguson. So continuing his zero QB strategy. Let's see how Ant X Wall can land the plane. Puhaim says Bryant is coming up and Franklin has an ADP now. Yeah, Franklin was getting some positive coach speak. So, we could see that second year breakout shower narrative, of course, with Bo Nix as college teammates. Mims will likely crush since he's the only wide receiver Peyton isn't talking about. Yeah, Peyton famously can be one of those big counter indicators. I love when he'll be like, "We just have to find ways to get him on the field." It's like, you're the coach, you're the way. Like, just do it. But anyway, Wandale and Jalen Knoll out there. Let's see if I go by. Boy, I don't take much Jaden Blue, but if I don't take him 20 picks after ADP, I'm going to get 0 Jaden Blue. I'm okay getting 0 Jaden Blue, but it is a very ambiguous backfield in Dallas. Maybe I just took Kamini Vidal, but again, if he falls that far, I'll just take him. I'm going to end up below market on him. I'm just sorry you all had to see me do it because I'm famously a Jaden Blue hater. Ant X Wolf, so he gets his first quarterback with Bryce Young. And CLN 2013, he gets his third quarterback with Matthew Stafford again. I believe that is a stack with Devontae Adams. So all of your leading pass catchers are stacked again. A build that just makes sense over there. Right now, we are looking at a 2-5-5. 2, again, likely to make this a 2-7-7-2. I could, though, depending on the late tight end, add one more late tight end. I just do think the team is a little more resilient when you construct that way, but I will not force it over something else I have a greater need for. All right, let's see. Boy, I have. It is hard in these 20-second drafts when to keep up with the chat. The Browns have so many pass catchers. Why no one is rising? So Bruce thinks it is too crowded there. I mean, only one of those guys had more than 50 receptions. Also, I'm just going to take Braelon Allen here, I think, and then shut it down at. No, I'm going to take 7, I said. So I'm not going to shut it down at all. I made that up. All right, I'm just going to take Allen. So Bruce thinks there is someone to emerge out of that pack. Bruce likes Dobbs and Tillman. I agree. I believe Huhames agrees. Tillman is a smash. Kind of upset Josh and Hayden have started to hype him. I believe, did Tillman go already? I thought Tillman went. I think I missed the boat on old Cedric Tillman. Mims offers a dynamic I don't think they have elsewhere. I think he's better than Franklin. Who else is field stretching? I think the fear is that Harvey's going to take some of that role from him of the behind the line of scrimmage, manufactured kind of stuff. James, not when they're all running between 20 and 40% of the routes. Yes, the fear of the great wide receiver room split. And but again, I'm just drafting him as a spike week guy. I don't need him to be out there for 100% of the routes every year. I don't trust receivers with the size of large middle school children to sustain a meaningful snap share. I mean, Devonta Smith is pretty small, and he can do it. So I'm on board. Peyton positive coach speak is a reverse tell. Yes, it can be like the most bearish thing. Oh, Diami Brown was who I was going to click. That was the plan. Now there really isn't much of a plan left. Let's see. I might just take Zach Ertz. I think he's as likely to hit my lineup as some of these other options, and I'm just going to take him. A kind of meat and potatoes pick. I guess he also has a week 12 bye. Maybe I should have taken like a Cade Otton if I'm taking someone in that range, but a little bit of ADP value there on Zach Ertz. And I think I'm probably just going to end this team with 5 running backs. So this will be a 2-6-7-3 team when all is said and done. CLN with Adams and Puka. Oh, nice. Yeah, your team makes a lot of sense. I like what you've done there. I'm a Jaden Blue Bull. This is the content I want to see. A Hartman. Oh man, I am very much on the other end of that. But I'm, anyone at the right price. Jaden Blue is the donate button, just like Rashi, right? Well, it's a smaller donate button when you're hitting it in rounds 15 versus when you're hitting it in round 2. So, I'm willing to, you give till it feels good, not till it hurts. And if I'm going to donate, I'll donate with the Jaden Blue button. Hartman, nothing like confirmation bias. Yes. We all watch the streamers that we generally agree with their takes, so that we think we're building well when we build a team that looks like something they would do. People are drafting Jaden Blue as their team's RB3. Don't do that. That's bad. CMC Tootin Blue. That seems like a way to just lose money. Who Haves Priors confirmed best feeling. James Young, just like Dallas. Yeah, is not that the truth there? All right, let's see. Coming up, probably taking receivers. I don't believe in DeAndre Hopkins because I no longer believe in the Tooth Fairy either. They seem like equally good bets. I guess I can take some of these late round receiver. I mean, maybe I just take Yoshi Voss, right? I mean, if I'm trying to make sure I get guys that are kind of hitting lineups, I think Yoshi Voss, it seems like he's just the wide receiver 3 in Cincinnati. Again, a very boring pick. Somebody I am very low on, but I think with this build, when I'm going to need guys to fill in for bye weeks, I'm very thin at receiver. Then I think Yoshi Voss makes sense than one of these rookies who might legitimately be a 0, at least for my 6th pick. My 7th pick, we'll see. We'll take somebody else and hope they're not a complete dud. But let's see what the room provides us. Ant Xwell, he takes Jalen Coker. I like that selection. And all right. I'm just thinking of who I want at running back. That's a fire wide receiver room, James. Wait, oh my goodness gracious me. CMC Tootin Blue. That will be the day. All right. I am going to put my money where my mouth is. Earlier, I said I thought MVS was a good pick. I think MVS is a good pick. I'll take another Seattle receiver there. And maybe, maybe things will be good in Seattle. I was planning on taking Darnold. Did not need him because this ends up being a 2-6-7-3 build. Double elite QB, Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. They said it couldn't be done. They said it shouldn't be done. We'll see if we landed this plane. Running back room, CMC, Quinshon Judkins, Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, Jaden Blue, and Braelon Allen. Wide receiver room, A.J. Brown, JSN, Juwan Jennings, Marvin Mims, Xavier Legette, Andre Yoshivas, and Martez Valdez-Scantling, and tight ends of Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, and Zach Ertz. Did we land the plane? Can we pull off double elite QB? You be the judge, dear listener. Let me pull this up. I will pull up I'll pull up our friends' teams and see how they did here. But first, let me catch up with the chat. Good morning, crew. Yeah, this is a great room that we've got going on today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Lay the House RM, R King. Thank you for coming by. If you're looking for good, if you're on the gambling side of things, Lay the House RM, a great follow on Twitter, sharp guy. I get MVS with Cup only, to be honest. Yeah, making a little bet on Seattle here. Good morning, Fanspeak Network. If you do not subscribe to the Fanspeak Network, you should. They're doing awesome stuff. They put out a ton of content, and they are all sharp on that channel. Bindle's appreciating, what have I done? Bindle's appreciating the Yoshi pick. It got so excited that my StreamYard is struggling to keep up. Meg thinks it's a fun team. Thank you so much for that. GM Fanspeak Network. Again, they are a fantastic follow. And yeah, also please like and subscribe this this little channel here if you're here enjoying this stuff. We're all here before Ship Chasing goes live at 10. And so I'm glad to kind of be the opening act. They don't even know. I'm not on the marquee. I'm just the opening act. Like, just showed up early, not affiliated with anyone else. So anyway, appreciate you all hanging out in this little channel. Fun draft, but QB rooms like that feel like you're leaving 30 points on the floor every week that could have gone to another position. James, there's a reason that I do this in 1% of drafts. Like, this is not something that should be done frequently, but we don't know what's going to win this year. And who knows, if those two QBs smash, they're not going to be paired a lot. And we were able to get the stack with, Did you get the cream cheese? Don't make your wife angry again. I actually had a bagel right before this draft. I thought about doing it on stream for the bit, but I'm like, I don't know if the bit was actually funny or not. GM Bindles from Meg. I drafted Rice 48 opening day of EBM. His ADP was 30. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a new day, Dirty P. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Meg's fans are legion. Al Boogie saying hello. Fan speak is great. Love the channel. Hard agree there. Dark Side Dev. Thanks, Al Boogie and Dark Side Dev. All right, let me go over CLN and Dirty P's team. So CLN also goes 2-6-7-3, but with Daniels and Stafford, running back room of Ken Walker, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears, Rashad White, Roshan Johnson, and DJ Giddens. So 3 very strong contingent backs with 3 guys who are going to have a role. So this is not this team. This is last team. I looked over this team. Hold on, folks. I'm reviewing the wrong team. Hold on. What's going on here? I'm very confused. My poodle is not appearing. My poodle is not appearing here. Let's see what this is quality stuff here. Let's see if it all right, this looks better. This looks promising. All right, here we go. All right, CLN 2013. Let's try this again. All right, CLN 2013 with a 3-5-7-3 team, a more traditional build. Caleb, Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, running backs of Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson Jr., Tyler Algier, and Blake Corum. I like these picks. I like Algier. Nice standalone plus contingent value guy. Puka, Ladd, Devontae, DJ Moore, Steph Diggs, Pittman, and Wilson. Double stacked Stafford. Got Ladd and Moore stacked. Love this. Love what you built here. Just a good looking team. Goddard, Henry, Schultz. A perfectly cromulent tight end room without using a ton of draft capital. CLN. This is just a textbook team that you have constructed. Let's see. Did Ant X Wall land his 0 QB plane? He goes Bryce Young, Sam Darnold, and Tyler Show. So he did not take a QB all the way till pick 156, but still gets 2 starters. And, we'll see if Show makes a third. Gene T, Henry, Kyron, Walker, Sanders. My goodness. So a ton of running back firepower here. Very strong. A 3-5-8-2 team. So very strong at running back. A wide receiver room of DK Metcalf, Chris Olave, Khalil Shakir, Ekbuka, Coleman, Shaheed, Hollywood Brown, and Jalen Coker. So trying to make up receiver with volume. But again, as the saying goes, quantity or quality, not both. I think you hit that. 5 running backs with 4 very strong ones, and then 8 receivers going a little more towards volume, but all guys that certainly could get there. And Loveland and Fergie, nice dip we've been getting on Loveland and Fergie. Again, a guy that I've heard some buzz in the fantasy space about him. And yeah, pick 154. That's a nice value there. So Ant X Wall, I like the team that you have put together. Don't roast my team too hard. No, I do not roast a team. If someone wants, I can roast a team, but I will not roast people's teams unsolicited. Nice one, CLN. Yes, I had to refresh. I messed up. It's still active. And X-Ball. I was in, we're people that got so mad that 22nd draft disappeared. We are not patient people. Patience is not our strong suit here. Al Boogie, thank you again. DJ Moore at wide receiver 4 is nice. Yeah, that is a solid thing. No root god CLN. I don't know what that means. I'm I'm sorry. And this is an eliminator team. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming by. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. We are on the road to 200. We've got this was a lot of fun doing this stream with all of you. today. I appreciate it. I'm going to be watching Ship Chasing, which goes live in 15 minutes. So I will be in the chat with all of you there, hopefully. But again, thank you so much. Yes, Annexall, this is why we play Blitz. This is why I love my Blitz games on chess.com. You can catch me over there. I'm also Chad Candles, and I'm be happy to play some chess if anyone wanted to. All right. I'll DM you something. All right, Lay the House. I cannot wait to see it. See you in the streets. Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you all. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.